Welcome everyone. It's so good to have everyone back for Lunch and Learn. It's been, I don't know, like 6 months at least, or 8 or whatever. But today's Lunch and Learn is something that got cooked up by James, Stina, and I in talking about Berwick for a Lifetime. And Berwick for a Lifetime is something that's very special to James as well. I don't know if anyone is aware of it, but back before COVID and even years before that, James was very involved with getting Berwick for a Lifetime established, and some people in this room were also very involved in that too. And Berwick for a Lifetime was something that is sweeping through the country, but in Maine in particular, with age-friendly communities, and it's to bring services and help and information to people in communities that are not getting, it's not that they're not getting the attention, but it keeps an awareness that when things in the community are happening, be aware of the people with age that might want to participate. And Berwick for a Lifetime is one of those things that is keeping the community really active, and the library too. So in partnership with Stina Brazelton is now the coordinator for Berwick for a Lifetime, and we're trying to bring awareness, bring information. Stina and her crew have set up the Aging Well Resource Centers, so that is a place where people can come and ask questions about technology. You probably won't need it after today's presentation, but if you did, technology, you know, everything's online. So if you can't access things you need, then come here to the library. The librarians are always here to help, but there are all kinds of things that the Aging Well Resource Center will address. Even if you're thinking, I don't know if I even should go there with this, come along, because these people are here to talk to you, to help, to set you up with other people in the community that can help. So it's a win-win. Everything that they do is for this community, including this Ask a Millennial Anything, tech-related. No naughty questions or questions about how come my road is still needs work. We're here because every one of us in this area probably at one time or other has come across something online or needed to do something in there, tried to do it and it didn't work, and it's so frustrating. And this gentleman here is here to talk about some of those questions. Keep your questions. We want it to be interactive after he's given his presentation. But James Bellissimo, you probably all know, is the former town manager. He is the current planning and development person. Is that there more to
official
that?
title, yeah.
Okay.
Development person, yeah.
And so he's always available at the town hall, and I love hosting James to come here. He's come for different programs. He's a wealth of information. No question is too stupid and too far out. And I am turning it over to James. And thank you, Stina, and your crew, Kathy, for having this great program.
Thank you. Thank you. James Bellissimo, thank you for the introduction, Sharon. If any questions come up about what I'm talking about, feel free to raise your hand. We can talk about it. I'm just going to run through some things that I think might be helpful. Some might be basic, some you may be like, what is this? But we can talk through it. And at the end, I just figure you can ask me any questions about if you're having issues accessing a device or anything about online. Maybe I can use the board to help figure it out. Maybe not. Of course, here we go. Frozen. So one of the first things, and this isn't planned. I'm not a tech expert. I'm not formally trained. I'm a millennial. That's my only That's my only qualification is I grew up in a time we actually had a computer before we had internet. So a lot of the ways of how I learned technology is through trial and error. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So there's nothing special about me, although like I tend to be the de facto IT guy in the room. If something's broken, people are, hey James, can you help fix it? But half the time I can press a couple buttons and get it to work. Sometimes I can't. So I encourage you all, there's definitely a mix of being able to explore in the internet, because at its core, the ethos of the internet is this freedom to explore this wealth of information that's out there. But also, you should be very conservative because the internet is a dark and scary place and is full of scams. So I would say before you put any personal information on there or sign up for anything that you can make payments, ask somebody that's familiar with technology. You can reach out to me anytime if you're like, hey, what is this? Is this something that's cool or not? So I'm gonna see if I can get this unfrozen real time.
Can you slide it?
Here we go. So, see, is it working? No. All right, here we go. There's other ways around. So,
Would it slide?
no. So again, I have no formal training. This is me on a computer when I was like 11 or something. I thought it was a funny picture. So again, internet is a wonderful place to explore, but be skeptical. You can also trust your gut too. I mean, if you see something on the internet and you're like, this is too good to be true, it probably is. First thing, and when I was thinking about this presentation, I was thinking about how I use technology, the things that I do. One of the things I use is you can buy stuff online. Who's ever used Venmo, or can you raise your hand high? Who's used Cash App or Venmo or Facebook payments? Cool. So it's something where you can hook up your bank account and you can make payments. You can, send friends money. Sometimes vendors are signed up for Venmo. If you're buying like concert tickets, for example, or buying something that is expensive, there is a feature you should always use, and that's called goods and services. So what that does is it adds a added level of protection for your purchases. It's something that if someone tries to sell you concert tickets, for example, and they're fake, you can go back to Venmo and you're protected on these purchases. If you're ever buying something online and someone tries to avoid using goods and services, it's probably a scam. So again, if you haven't used online payments before and you're interested in getting involved in using that feature, you can reach out to me, reach out to a family member, and it's convenient. It's a good tip. Does anyone have questions does that raise any?
So goods and services is a feature of Venmo?
It's a feature of Venmo. It's on PayPal as well. Those are the two I'm familiar with. And it's a little button you turn on right before you make.
Is that like a separate app?
Yep, Venmo is a whole separate app. There's goods and services is built right into those payment apps. Yep.
It's right there on that page. I would push that, turn on for purchase.
Yep, and it's like a 3% fee or something, but it's well worth the protection. I kind of got myself into a scam on purpose to kind of see how it would work out. There was an event and there was this story about, hey, my family member can't make it, which that's kind of like a scam that's out there. They try to sell those tickets for cheap. And I'm like, I don't really believe it, but I was kind of desperate for the tickets. So I turned on this feature. I was scammed. but I was able to go back, had the screenshots, and the service was turned on, and I was refunded.
So on Venmo, I noticed that it somehow has access to my contacts. So I think it's inadvertent, but I can see, for example, some people in my family, what they're doing on Venmo. And is there a way to turn that on?
There is. When you're making a payment, there, and I can probably, I wouldn't be able to figure it out right now, but there's a way to make it private.
Okay, thank you.
So if you don't want people to know, hey, I'm paying you back for whatever, my bar tab or something, I don't know. Okay, smart home technology. Who has like an Alexa or Ring camera or anything like that? Cool. So these are things that even me, like to get these things set up is kind of a pain in the butt. Like, but it's once you get it set up, it's set up, and it's worth the time investment. Just like as an example, again, I'm thinking about the ways that I use it. My dad bought like 6 of these things, so I have one in like every room. And just as a cool thing, you can have each Alexa in each room play the same music. So that's a cool feature. And that's something that you could set up too, and I can show you how to do that. Another maybe more practical, helpful is there's smart plugs. So back when I lived in my apartment, we had a overhead kitchen light, and then sometimes I'd go to bed and then the light was still on and I could see it from my bedroom and it was annoying. So I had it set up to the smart plug and I could say, hey Alexa, turn off the kitchen light.
So I got a question on that one.
Yep.
We have a smart light. It's forever not working.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you? Where I ask Alexa to turn on the light and it's not responding.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to pretty much reboot it.
Yeah, that I would just throw it away at that point. But no, that's not my advice to you. I'm saying what I would do. But
Well, that was my.
yeah, it's either like issues to the Wi-Fi, or sometimes if it doesn't pick up on what you're trying to, the name of it. So sometimes you say, hey Alexa, turn off the kitchen light, and it doesn't hear you. At one point I had, hey Alexa, turn off all lights, and that works. So like a more simple voice prompt. But yeah, if the Wi-Fi can't get to it, then that's,
Sprinkler Wi-Fi.
yeah.
So what's involved, James, in setting up a Ring camera? Because that seems like a nice security item,
Yeah,
whereas the others are more for personal
yeah. You,
convenience.
just as an example, so you can use it for internal, like we had a camera for our nursery, but also on the other side you could have external cameras. They're all integrated in with it. There's a thing called an Amazon Echo Show. So say it's pretty much just a small TV, and you could say, hey Alexa, show me outside, and it'll pop up right there wherever you are, and it'll show you the camera. The way that a lot of the Ring cameras work today, like I think my dad and my brother have it, so you can set up this way if you like it or not, but if someone sees motion, it'll send a notification to their phones, hey, there was motion outside. But a lot of the time that's like a car drove by or a leaf fell or something.
That's, you know, if you got a porch seat.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you then, with the Ring camera, prevent hackers? They've had it on the news, like people talking to their children in their bedrooms, and if someone's hacked into their Ring camera, how do you set up your Ring camera to not have that happening? Especially if you're gonna use it within your house, not necessarily outside, but inside where you don't want anybody looking into your kitchen
Oh, yeah.
or your room or wherever.
Yeah, I think any technology has an inherent security risk, and then you just follow the best practices, which I think a lot of times with hacking is people guessing your password. So that's why like people make your passwords secure, which is easier said than done. I get it, because every password has to be slightly different. So you have 6 different passwords you have to keep track of. It's a lot to keep track of.
That's how you do it, is your security is tied to your password to that.
A lot of, I mean, that's, yeah, that's, but if someone wanted to actually hack into the system, there's, I mean, that is an inherent, there is an inherent security risk with all kinds of, all the technology, but that's part of their business models, is that if it is a security risk and it's this rampant thing where people are hacking into people's cameras, then people aren't going to buy their products. So it's in their best interest to make sure that they are secure.
Hack-free.
As hack-free as possible, that's right. So like my wife, Lindsay, every morning she asks, "Hey Alexa, what's the weather?" You know, so that's, they can get much more sophisticated too. There's things you can auto-program. Hey, remind me to take my medications at 5 o'clock. Those types of things. All right, algorithms. What is the algorithm? I don't know. I don't really, but I know how they work and I know how to use them. So my tip to you on algorithms is, if you're on social media, be intentional about what you look at and what you interact with. If there's things you don't want to see, or there's things that get you riled up on a daily basis that you don't really want to see, whatever it is, don't comment on it, hide it. Social media is based on algorithms. So like I said, be intentional on what you want to see, because at its best, these algorithms will feed you up things that are like, that are things that you're interested in, and show you new things that you didn't even know you liked. So anything I don't want to see on social media, I'm blocking it, I'm hiding it, and things that I want to see, I'm liking and sharing it. Are there any questions on social media or algorithms or anything like that? Yeah. Okay. So the most, the cutting edge thing you hear about AI all the time, in a lot of ways, AI is like the internet, where the internet kind of seemed like a gimmick, and then all of a sudden it's in our everyday lives. So to me, AI in some ways still is kind of like a gimmick, but in a lot of ways, AI is being incorporated in a lot of things we're doing on a day-to-day basis without us actually really being aware of it. So I wanted to show you demonstration on AI. This may take me a minute. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to have it write me a song about, let's see, Berwick Public Library and the wonderful volunteer-led group who takes care of Berwick residents of all ages and writes in. All right, what's our favorite artist? Give me a favorite musician or a band.
Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton. Sure thing. Here's a heartfelt bluesy tune in the style of Eric Clapton with a laid-back acoustic groove, soulful lyrics, and a warm touch of community love. It's called Berwick for Lifetime. Imagine a Berwick or a Clapton-style guitar riff threading through each verse. So it spits out a song, right? So in Berwick for Lifetime, they stand so true, hearts wide open, and all they do. Young or old, they know your name, a hand to hold when life gets strange. Yeah, Berwick for Lifetime, they're always there with love and hope in the cool spring air. So what does this mean, right? If you think about AI prompts, you can let your imagination run wild. There's practical things too, right? So you can say, let me go back. I'm gonna put, write me a meal plan to lower my blood pressure. So here's a 7-day hearty meal plan designed to lower your blood pressure. It's designed on the dash. So day 1, it gives you breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner for the meal plan. So what I use on a daily basis now, I use Meta AI, which is right in, if you have Facebook in the chat, it's built right into your chat. I use this now instead of Google. You can use it to compare products. I use it for like, what's a better battery, Duracell or whatever the other competitor is. And it broke down the differences and actually recommended one product over the other. And so you can, with AI, I'm not gonna type out a long prompt again. I'm not gonna put you through that. But you could say, show me a yellow library with pink sidewalks, with in the fall with the leaves coming down peacefully. And actually have that. And it spits out a picture. It actually creates the picture. Any questions on AI or anything like that?
So that's made up, that's not a real library, it's made up, that AI.
Yeah, it's completely made up based off of the prompt.
Information from
Yep.
And is ChatGPT safe? That app?
Yeah, so you can access ChatGPT with an email address.
Mm-hmm. And it's safe.
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, any technology has some inherent security. You never know. Like I can't say I don't know the owners of ChatGPT. I can't vet them, but they're as safe as any other login you're going to put your information in. And if you're just putting your email address in, then it's pretty limited to what someone could do with that information. Okay, that's pretty much what I had. I just wanted to go through some of the things. There's more I could go into, but for now I'll turn it over to you folks, and we can talk about. You can ask me anything as the millennial, and we'll see if I can help you with tech tips or tech issues, and if I can't, then I'll get back to you. Stina, yes?
I have a question. How long should text messages be? Is there a length that is desirable to millennials?
Great question. I'd say if you're texting and it comes in more than one page, then you're probably texting too much at once. I think you keep it, 3 or 4 lines.
And if there's a question, you need to make sure there's a question mark. Some people, do some people scan for question marks before they bother to read it?
Should you put question marks to like get a response back? Yeah. I guess I'm a little like, if the text is longer, there probably should be a phone call, right? I'm a millennial. I maybe in my early 20s, I didn't like phone calls. I guess that's probably a true thing. But maybe as I'm getting a little bit older, that I think phone calls are much more practical. But I don't know. I don't know how to get millennials to get back to you by text. I don't know. Sure.
How or what source is there with my phone? And I look at it and it came with all these things that you need to keep Google, you need to keep Samsung. So it runs properly, but every time it updates, it takes up more and more space. And there's a lot of things on there I don't want to use, I may never use, but I'm afraid to get rid of them because then my phone's not going to work. Is there a source that is easy to get to that I can find out, do I need to really keep this? What's the purpose of this app or the ability, like there's stickers on there now when it updated. I got new stickers that I don't know what this app is. I don't do avatar stuff. Can I get rid of that? It has to do with AI. I disabled my Gemini the other day because it was trying to get me to ask my phone questions, and I don't use my phone that way. So what's out there for me to go easily find information so I can decide what I want to keep on my phone and get rid of?
That's a great question. Questions about like proprietary apps of like what actually needs to stay on the phone and how to find out what you need to keep on your phone. One tip, I mean, you could ask Chat GPT that. You could ask Meta AI. You can Google it too. That works too. Typically with those proprietary apps, I mean, I delete a lot of things on my phone, and it's not going to let you delete something that would break your phone.
Same with the phone.
Yeah, they're either not going to let you delete it, or like I have an iPhone, they let you delete. I mean, you can definitely take it off your home screen to clean up your home screen if that's something you wanted to do. But if you can go in and delete it, it's not going to break your phone. It's just a matter of like if you have a web browser and you delete your web browser that you use, then that may be something that you'd want to keep. But for anything that you don't use and you delete, it's not going to break your phone. It's not like with a Windows computer, you could actually delete something that breaks your computer. Which, by the way, again, going back to earlier, I learned a lot of how to use my computers because I broke them a lot. I grew up in a time where you would remember viruses? Remember when viruses, where you click on the wrong website and now your computer doesn't work? I broke the family computer a lot, so I had to fix it. I had to learn how to fix it.
I was just going to add something to that. It's very rare to, especially on your phone, if you delete something and it's gone forever. You can get things back for the most part. Like, especially like you said, if you just delete it, it's just going off your home screen. You can get it back, or if you delete an app, you can re-download the app.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. So if you delete something and you go, oh no, what did I do? You can go back. Typically, I think Google has, or Android has, was it Google, or whatever the app store is, you can go and download it. I'm an iPhone user, so. Ralph?
What do you do with your old emails?
Good question. I think with emails, probably the best practice is to sort them into categories.
Folders, yeah.
Yeah, folders is probably the way to go. And that way your inbox can start at 0. And then the other tip, Ralph, thank you. Unsubscribe from stuff. There's so much clutter. Another thing too is with your phones, you want to limit your notifications. It's not good for you to be pinged every time someone posts on Facebook or gives you even text. Like the people that really matter, like if my wife calls, it comes through. It'll come through no matter what. But for most of my friends, I'm sorry, like my phone's on silent. It might vibrate for certain text threads, but that's something to keep in mind. Is the electronic clutter that can accumulate. So when it comes to emails, it's create categories so you know where to get stuff and unsubscribe from stuff, because I mean, my personal email probably has 60,000 emails, but
If you read into an email, you don't want it, you scroll down to the bottom, there'll be a spot that says unsubscribe.
exactly. Thank you. Yes.
So how do you limit your notifications so that you can get your wife's message, but you're not gonna get mine?
Yeah, you can go.
How do I do that?
You can go. I can show you after about how I do it. But there's different settings you can go into, and there's different. If you have different text threads, you can set different settings for each different text thread.
Okay. All right, I'm just gonna let you know right now, because you said it after. I have to leave at 11:30 because I have an appointment. But if I have to leave before you're done, I will figure out how to find you.
Yeah, I'm easy to find. I'm easy to find.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to show that. Oh, I find you.
Hi, I know about the unsubscribe button, but I found, and I like the link all recipes. I like to see the kind of recipes that come in. But if I unsubscribe that, and then somewhere else I happen to look at one of their recipes, they plug me back in.
They resubscribe you. That sounds.
It's a cute little trick they have.
Jan?
Oh, what do you think of password managers? Do you use one? Do you recommend?
So I'm not a tech expert by any means. Okay, so this is my 2 cents. It feels like you're putting eggs all in one basket. For me, so if you have a password manager, then someone gets the password to that, then they have all your passwords.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong though. Maybe there's added levels of security, but like I can be stubborn. Like technology's passing me by too in a way. You know, there's newer generations coming up, but that's just my opinion on it. I have a notepad on my phone that I have my passwords on.
Mm-hmm. So you keep individual passwords.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just gonna say, I have a whole notebook that I've, A, B, C, D, and I have the company, the password, the login, and then when it changes, I can just change it, and it's just all in one notebook by my computer, which probably isn't safe, but nobody's gonna take my password book because I'm old school, but at least it helps. I don't have to try and think what password for this. It's got, because now you have to log in for your health insurance, your health records, your everything. So it's just nice, see, okay, there's my Citizens Bank or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good tip. It's what my dad does.
Yeah.
It comes in handy.
It's a lot easier.
I use an address book.
Yeah, that's kind of like the same thing, and I just put letters in it, so.
How does a QR code work? Is it spying on you?
Is it spying? No, I mean, it's just a fancy link, really. The QR code, it's like a digital fingerprint in a way. Somehow it spits out a completely unique picture that you can just go on your phone, like you use your camera on your phone, and then once it comes into focus, it'll give you a link and you click on it. They've been trying to do QR codes for a while, and it's kind of just taking root now, and they're actually pretty useful. So if you have an event poster, instead of saying visit www.such and such / this, and this, you just use your camera, click on it, and it brings you to the link on your phone. But it's not, there's no way, what do you mean by spying? Like there's no...
Yeah, how today's technology is. Yeah. you're asking all these questions and or you're just having a conversation, and next thing you know, all these things popping up on your computer or your iPad.
Yeah, so a QR code is just a link, but like some people maybe, I've never really seen it, but like just like any link can send you to anywhere on the internet. That's the thing to look out for, is where
Kind of like a shortcut.
yeah. So the QR code in itself is not bad, but maybe where it sends you could be bad. Like I said, I've never really. Typically, like community flyers or community events, you'll see that type of thing.
So it's not using an algorithm to
It is, yeah.
say, oh, she wanted to go to the Berwick Public Library, so I'm gonna start sending her ads for these other libraries or these other events that I QR code. It's not spying on you that way. It's not using an algorithm like Facebook will. You click on something and then the next time you're in there, you've got all these ads for what you looked at before. It's not doing
Only if you're like logging into wherever that QR code sent you, it'd be pretty hard. I mean, there are ways that it can be tracked, but
I hope you didn't cover this. I had to take a phone call.
oh sure, no.
But I have a computer that was my late husband's, and he bought it fairly recent, well, 2022. And it came with all of these commercial virus protections on it. It probably has 4 or 5 different programs. What do I need, and how do I get rid of the ones that seem to be built into the PC as a marketing?
Yeah, what kind of computer is it? Do you remember?
I know it's a PC, but I don't remember. He got it at Best Buy.
Probably an HP.
Possibly, yeah.
So, a few thoughts. Sometimes, if you have more than one, that's probably excessive. I can't imagine you ever need more than one. Sometimes viruses show up as protection, spyware protection. So it'll say it's spyware protection, but it's actually a virus.
Okay. What do I need?
Is it a desktop computer or a laptop?
It's a laptop. So one's called WebRoot, one is called Red and White. It's a common one.
Yeah, I think we have WebRoot on our town laptop. But if you want to bring it in sometime,
Okay, thanks.
yeah, definitely don't need 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Along those same lines, I keep getting messages that Windows 10 is not going to be supported from October, and they're suggesting to go to Windows 11. Your thoughts?
I don't know. That's probably true. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but it is true that they stop supporting, and then sometimes when they stop supporting it, it either becomes like it's dead once they stop supporting it, or it becomes more and more difficult to maintain it.
Be security updates for it. So your computer would be more vulnerable to whatever. So it probably would be a good idea for you to update to Windows 11. Now, depending upon what version of Windows the computer originally came with, my laptop is, I don't know, maybe 6 years old, and maybe it came originally, I want to say with Windows 8, but I might be misremembering. So my tech guy updated my computer from Windows 10 to 11, and then I was having this bizarre flashing problem where every time I put my mouse over my monitor, the monitor would go dark. And the tech guy I use, who's kind of a homegrown guy, ended up having to reinstall, this happened twice, my entire operating system. So I ended up taking my laptop to an actual computer shop that's been around since the advent of computers. I mean, they've been in business for decades. And they found that because of the age of my laptop and the original OS that came on it, that it was the hibernating mode of the computer that was causing that. So they just disabled my computer from hibernating, and that resolved the problem. So you should update to Windows 11 for security, but beware of a problem that you might get, like what I got. And so I relayed what the issue was to my homegrown tech guy, and he was appreciative, because if that happens again for him now, he'll know how to fix it for another customer. But just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, there seems to be a million of those little inconveniences. You're like, what? How do we get over this? So if there's anything like that, you can reach out to me and I can see if sometimes maybe I would know it's hibernating mode. Sometimes I don't know. Looks like it's broken to me.
Well, it was interesting, and it only took this other company. I took it, in case anybody wants to know, to Botany Bay in Portsmouth. And they fixed it while I waited. Took the guy about a half hour, and I said, so how did you figure that out? And my homegrown guy could not, and had to reinstall my operating system. And he said, just the right matter of the right order of the words I put into Google. So it was a known issue, but he just had to put in the search, into Google search, the right words, the right order to come up with the solution. So it was kind of dumb luck, but I guess he would have gotten there eventually. And my regular tech guy probably would have if he'd been that persistent, but sometimes it's really hard to figure out those really weird things.
Yeah. That's a good tip too. And if you're trying to troubleshoot something, if you type in your issue and you try to say it in different ways and try to see if you hit the right keywords that get the search to populate of whatever the issue is. I mean, internet's getting pretty sophisticated with tutorials. So whether you're troubleshooting or trying to fix something, a lot of things are, I mean, especially YouTube now. I mean, my son's 4.5, he has a Hot Wheels truck, and Lindsay, my wife, was able to reconstruct the motor for this toy truck. They said she's a mechanic now, essentially, but it's pretty involved, and you just follow it on online or YouTube, and you can be surprised at the things you can do by just following step by step.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation with you. When I first bought my laptop, I was on Windows 7. When it came out with 10, a lot of people were crashing. So I waited until the last freaking minute to download it, and no problem. Right now, I'm not getting no updates because I'm still on 10. I gotta wait, see what happens with that.
Yeah, I just want to comment that right now there's an email scam going around about your Xfinity bill needs to be updated. So just delete them, mark them junk, because I get 10 a day. I also wanted to point out the importance of clearing the cache on your computer and your phone, because the cache just builds up data that you've looked at, or pages you've looked at, or text messages. So James, can you talk about clearing cache from both of those things?
Yeah. I wonder if I can figure out how to do it here. Oops. Let's see. So this is I'm going to show you how to do it. Clearing cache, cookies. Sometimes too, if something is wonky, sometimes clearing your cache or your cookies can help fix things. It's one of those weird things that is just like turning it off and turning it back on again. For some reason it works. Yeah, so typically, like if you're this is Google Chrome or Firefox, the settings are like these three buttons here. You click that, and it's delete browsing data. and then there it is right there, cookies and cache, and then you just hit delete data, and it clears it out. So that's how you do it. I couldn't tell you what cookies or cache is, but
Doesn't that delete some passwords too? Or
Yes, it can.
yeah, I mean, pretty much what it does is like if you type in the, sometimes it's just convenient when you start typing in the link, it'll fill it out for you. Sometimes it won't do that. Or yeah, if you have a saved password, then sometimes it'll delete that. But I think that's even an option.
yeah.
See, it's save passwords. So I think you might be able to delete these without it clearing out your passwords. Might depend on the app you use too.
I have another question. My iPad always seems that it's always roaming.
Roaming, yeah.
Why?
My best guess is got to do something probably with your service. So you have internet, you have like, you pay for a internet service. What do you use? I'd have to look at it. Because if you're paying for it so it has internet no matter where you go.
That doesn't always happen.
Because if you're
Usually take it with
Because if you're home on Wi-Fi, then you shouldn't be roaming. That doesn't make sense. We'd only be roaming. I think like the way I understand roaming is like it used to be expensive, right? It's like you're on a foreign, or you're on an extended network away from your home.
Yeah, it seems like even if it's just sitting there, we're not using it for anything, like it's,
I would take a look at, if you go into the settings and see what network is connected to, and look at that.
Have you connected it to your home network? To your router, modem?
yeah, it should be connected to that, yeah.
It should be, but if you haven't specifically gone in and done that, it won't be. It doesn't do that on its own. You have to do that.
Yeah, it might be connected just like a cell tower.
Right. Yeah, so unless you've put in, under network, like James said, unless you've selected your home network, put in your password, it's not using your Wi-Fi, it's using a cell tower.
I'll delete an email in the morning, junk. But in the afternoon, it's there again. How do you get it to go away once you deleted it? I don't know why it keeps coming back. It happens a lot.
Maybe try, maybe when you delete, I know when you delete it, it goes into like the recycling, the trash bin. Yeah. Try deleting it out of there, see what happens. Okay. Because that would be bizarre. That's a weird.
It happens all the time. It's been happening.
I would just try to see what happens when because if you delete it, for most apps like Gmail, you'll delete it and they'll go into the trash bin for a certain amount of days, and then it gets deleted permanently. So I don't know if some.
Like I'll read it and it's okay, read it, delete it, and then it's there again.
That'd be annoying.
It is annoying. It's like, well, I thought I answered these questions, or whatever.
Yeah, I would try to delete it and then delete it from the trash bin and see what happens. If that doesn't work, someone's just emailing you multiple times.
Well, no, you get junk emails and stuff that you really, or you answer the question you like, if you get, how was your service today or whatever, you answer it and then you delete it. And then in the afternoon, the same survey is there all over again. It's like, I know I answered that. I know I did that. And so then I just delete it again. And
It's possible they resent it too, because you can see like the time it was sent.
okay.
So you can see whether it was like sent at 9 a.m. or like 3 p.m. Because it might just be they might have just sent you another email.
Could be.
Yeah.
If you have if you're out with a group of friends and he for instance sends out an email that goes to 5 or 6 people, every time someone responds to that, it pops up again. So you see every answer, but you see the whole thing. So sometimes it seems like it's repeating itself, but it's really not. It's showing you the answer to the email.
Yeah, a thread. Yeah, yep, the thread. Yep.
So, Snapchat and Instagram.
Yes.
All the young people use that.
Yep.
What are those services? What do they provide for us? Is it something we want to use?
I know with like kids, the attractive thing about Snapchat is the messages go away. So the Snapchat's thing is that like like with Facebook, what you put on there is on there basically forever unless you delete it. With Snapchat, those go away after a certain point of time. What Snapchat offers, it's got like chat features and stuff. I've only used Snapchat when my friends used it. Like my friends had a group chat within Snapchat, but you can do a group chat with text or Facebook. There's other ways of doing that.
So it's just really another chat program.
Chat program. They've got some other video features and things like that. Honestly, the only reason to use Snapchat is they have funny filters. It can turn you into a cat or something. Right. Like they're actually pretty amusing to go on and see. Like they're maybe something with like the grandkids or something. Luca gets a hoot out of it. It just turns him into a giraffe or. Yeah. But there's no like personally, I don't have Snapchat on my phone right now. Instagram's different. Instagram is more picture based. There's less just junk. It's just nice pictures and things to look at. So if that's something you're interested in, then I think Instagram is something that is something that would be valuable. And going back to the algorithms, once you're interacting with things that you like, whether it's mountainscapes or beaches or art or something, it'll feed you the things that you like. So, and then the TikTok, is anyone on TikTok here? Me too, 2 people in the room. I think TikTok has the strongest algorithm. I have pretty weird things that I like, and it has an ability of knowing those weird and like sending you these things and connecting things that are really interesting. It's got a really strong algorithm. But yeah, it's 15 second to 2 minute video clips. Kind of like Facebook Reels. If you've seen Facebook Reels is pretty much a ripoff of TikTok, in my opinion.
Well, what about podcasts? There are a lot of good podcasts, I guess, to listen to.
Oh yeah.
And so is Spotify the best program for that? And do you use them? Can you show us?
Yeah. So Spotify, actually the town of Berwick is now on Spotify. So if you're interested in tuning into planning board meetings or select board meetings, you can subscribe on Spotify.
Watch them in real time?
You can listen to them afterwards. You can watch meetings in real time on YouTube. So if you go to the Town of Berwick YouTube channel, you can go online and let me see if I can. Let's do this real quick. This is the Town of Berwick YouTube page. When there's a meeting going on, it'll look like this. It'll look just like This, when you go on the YouTube page, so you can subscribe, you go up here, if you type in Town of Berwick, you go to the profile, you hit subscribe, and you can go say it was a planning board meeting, it'll show up like this. So like this is our live stream of downtown Berwick. So that's a live stream now right on. So just as an example, you would see that live sign. You click on it, and then it would just pull up a planning board meeting, and you can watch it as it's happening. And then going back to podcasts, Spotify's good. I use something called Overcast on iPhone. If you have iPhone, is an app that I use. I'm a creature of habit, but I'm subscribed to like 25 different podcasts, and it comes in a feed. So every day I'll have 10 to 12 new podcasts, and some of the suggestions are good to start with. Some of the popular ones, but they run the gamut of your interests, whether it's politics or sports or art, culture, history. There's something for everything. But I highly recommend. I love podcasts. If whatever I'm doing at home, if I'm doing chores or whatever, I'm listening to a podcast like for hours. Yeah. Any other questions? Sharon, you have any questions?
I have too many questions.
Well, I think one of the things that Sharon and I were talking about last week, a couple weeks ago, was about is technology a good thing or a bad thing, right? So how are we on time?
Well, AI in particular.
I have 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, is AI a good thing or a bad thing in terms of, are students really learning, or can they just type in a prompt? Because I could say, hey, write a 500-letter essay on Thomas Jefferson or whatever, and it'll spit out an essay. So I don't really have a solution on that, but I'll just say the way that I've used AI. So as Sharon mentioned, I was the town manager before. I've used it for job descriptions. Hey, write me a job description about this. And it'll spit out a job description, and you look at it and you go, that's interesting, that's good, I'll rework that doesn't make any sense. So that's the way I use AI. I've used it for cover letters, resumes, songwriting. I'm trying to figure out what should the bridge be for this song. Here are my lyrics, finish the lyric for this song. How do I take two different, the way I write is I kind of write down what I want to say and then try to figure out how to connect it and have it make sense. You can have AI do it for you. Connect these two things, make it make sense. And it'll spit out something, and then you could say, make this sound more professional, make this more concise, make this sound friendlier. So I think about it as an augment to my abilities. It doesn't replace what I do. And then my thing with technology, is it good or bad? I think it's a net neutral. I think it's all about how you use it.
Should we be having conversations as AI becomes more prevalent with businesses, for example, our doctor's office, who has access to all my confidential information, talk to them about how they're using AI and how protected my confidential information remains? Or
I think that's a good idea, because they probably are using it, and to get an idea of how businesses are using AI to provide you services or to make decisions is a good idea. Yeah.
But it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. It's true. And more. I mean, it's as it's being used to create products and services, it's being implemented more and more.
Is there any way of disabling AI, like school laptops?
I think in some ways we're already plugged into the matrix, but there are ways of unplugging and scaling it back. I think
There are apps that universities use too to run papers through that, students' papers to see if it is
AI.
AI and where and plagiarism and all that. But the technology is moving so fast that, and I think I love that James has this positive outlook on it, and that makes me feel good. But the cynical part that I always think, connecting two sentences, we used to, part of writing was figuring that out. Having the basis to take your knowledge and connect them. And it might not be the first try that you like the way it sounds, but then you work through it. Old school, it's the positive new embracing technology with the we're doomed. And I know that's not true, but it feels so often like I can't keep up with it even in the library field. It's just changing so fast. So that's why we have positive people doing great programs to get used to it. Did you want to say anything?
I have a question. Why are Macs more expensive because they don't need firewalls or whatever you call those things? Not firewalls.
in my experience, Apples last longer. Just in my experience, I mean, I've had HPs, I've had Dells, and they last like a couple of years or 3 years, or the performance just drops off a cliff. I mean, I'm not paid by Apple by any means, but that's just my experience. Is you pay for what you get. I'm sure that it seems that there are products out there. I mean, you can buy a nicer Windows model, but if you're buying a cheaper model, I think you just expect you're going to have that obsolescence of whatever chip or component that you have to replace or crashes. But to me, it just seems like, I've had MacBooks last 10 years and the performance is usable. Laptops I've had on Windows is just not the same. It's a different interface, I know that.
Supposedly they have better security. Is that true? Or
That's my understanding too, is that with Apples, you're not dealing with the same type of viruses. Yeah.
And I wanted to just reinforce, if you run into issues or have questions, the Aging Well Resource Center, can you say what days and times people are here to man that?
we're here the second and fourth Thursdays from 1 to 3. I hope to be. Yes, thank you. And we're here with computers and our knowledge of them to help you do things like get your healthcare portal set up, or go to your healthcare portal and report something to your doctor. The kinds of things that come up now we find are that you can't reach a person when you want to work on a bill. So you have to go through their webpage. So we can help with that kind of thing. And we're here twice a month to do it, or by appointment only. Not by appointment only, but by appointment.
And
also.
veterans?
And also we have 2 veterans who can help with Healthy Vet. Is that what it's called? My Healthy Vet, which has changed, I guess, recently and nerve-wrackingly for some people.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.